Hey everyone, Brandon from BC Marketing here. Today I'd like to talk to you about an opportunity to earn from one of the fastest growing trends in the world. Anyone that knows me knows that I have spent almost my entire adult life studying entrepreneurialism, marketing, and different and unique ways of making money that's cheap, simple, and easy to do. Now, in all my years of searching, I have never been so excited about an opportunity as the one I am about to tell you about. Imagine for a minute if you had bought in the stocks, let's say back in the 1980s before it had the explosive growth that it did. Maybe some of you did that and got filthy rich. But in particular, if you bought into Apple or Amazon or companies like it when they first IPO'd, even $100 investment would have been worth about $50,000 today. Unfortunately, we can't turn back time, so you can buy those shares now, but we can't turn back time. However, I believe that we are currently standing in front of another revolution. So many of you have probably already heard of Bitcoin. Now, it's been surging in popularity lately. So what is Bitcoin? Bitcoin is a cryptocurrency. Think of it as a purely digital currency whose value is controlled by the public. Now, when we spend money, for instance, in US dollars, all but about 10% of it is also purely digital currency. Money like US dollars, British pounds, and other countries' currencies are called fiat currencies. Now, in the past, America was on what we called the gold standard. Now, that meant that the value of the US dollar would be directly tied to the price of gold because gold is a limited resource. So this standard helped to keep the value of the dollar stable. Now, basically all that ended, however, in 1971 when President Richard Nixon removed the U.S. from the gold standard. Many European and Asian countries likewise had also introduced their own fiat currencies. That is, currencies not tied to the value of any limited resource. Now, the problem with fiat currency is that the supply, the value, and many other factors are controlled by governments and central banks. Now, if you guys have been wondering why the wealth gap today, for instance, is the biggest it's ever been in history, and why prices of assets seem so unstable at times, it all goes back to the removal of the dollar from the gold standard. Now, today the Federal Reserve has the power to essentially print as much money as they want. Now, did you guys know that when someone goes to a bank to get a loan, say for their house or their car, banks are only required to keep about 10% or less in reserves. Now, most people don't realize this. Let me give you an example. Let's see. Here's a slide here. We can see in the picture basically that the $200,000 you're trying to borrow from our example, okay? Let's say you go to the bank, you apply for a loan on your house. You fill out all the paperwork and you qualify. Now, most people think that the bank would simply, take the $200,000 cash that they have on hand and, deposit it into your bank account. Now, this couldn't be further from the truth. And in all actuality, what happens is this, okay? The central bank requires commercial banks like this one to keep about 10% in reserves. So the bank will essentially lend you that 10%, which they keep in cash. Now, in our example, for this $200,000 loan, that would equate to roughly $20,000, okay, which they'd have to keep in reserves. Now, here's where it gets really crazy. So where does that other $180,000 they're lending you actually come from? Well, in reality, it comes from nowhere. They literally create it out of thin air. If you were the one receiving this loan from the bank, you don't care where the money came from, do you? As long as you get it. Most people don't care where the money came from. When they log into their bank account online and see that $200,000 was deposited into their account, they don't question its authenticity or how the bank got it. Most people wouldn't even fathom that the bank could create $180,000 out of thin air. So they simply just typed in numbers on their computer screen and added it to your bank account. It's kind of like an IOU. It's kind of like an IOU between you and the bank. So if everything goes well and you pay your loan off in the future, then that IOU would simply cancel out. Okay? They basically lent out money that didn't exist. You then paid it back, so essentially the transaction satisfies itself and nobody gets hurt. So that's basically the concept behind it. But here's the problem, though. Life always isn't that peachy. What would happen if everybody ran to the bank at the same time and tried to withdraw everything they had in their accounts in cash? Well, the banks wouldn't have enough cash on hand since they're only required to hold around 10% cash reserves. Okay? This means that they literally would not be able to pay everyone. Now, if this sounds like a fantasy to you or too crazy an idea for banks to operate this kind of scam, think again. Okay, bank runs, as they call it, have already happened many times throughout history and in many different countries. Many of you may remember, for instance, the recent crisis in Greece. Citizens of Greece were only allowed to draw out less than $100 per day. Many people stood in line for half the day each day just so they can afford to pay their daily living expenses like food, gas, groceries. Don't think it can't happen again. I mean, here's a picture. Let me see this. Here's a picture right here of a line for one of the banks on a good day. Back in this Greece financial crisis. So the very same thing almost happened right here in the United States back during 2008-2009 financial crisis. As subprime mortgage, as subprime mortgages began to default and risky leveraged derivative bets made by the banks began to eat into trillions of dollars worth of bank capital, America's entire banking system almost collapsed. If this had happened, many people could have gone to bed that night, with a decent amount of savings and woken up to realize that virtually their entire savings had vanished overnight. Now, this is literally the predicament that America was in. And not just America, most of the world as well. Now, I can give you a lot more information on currency and modern economics, but I'll reserve that for a different video. The main point I'm trying to make by telling you all this is that fiat money cannot be trusted because it could be manipulated. It could be regulated, it could be stolen right from under our noses by the government. So if you recall, some citizens of Greek faced, they faced something called bail-ins. This is where the government steps in and says, listen, we're going broke. We need to help save these institutions, and we notice that you have a lot of money in your savings. So, we're just going to go ahead and go in there, confiscate that, and call it a bail-in. And that's literally what happened. So, if that sounds like a fantasy, think again. It's happened many times. Similar things even happened right here in America when the government ordered the confiscation of all gold from U.S. citizens, for example. I forget what year that was, but they did that in, history. I think it was under FDR. And, why did they do this? The Federal Reserve could increase the money supply during the Depression. It was around the Great Depression. They wanted to try to increase the money supply, so they basically confiscated, all this gold from its citizens. So in other words, they wanted the ability to manipulate the money supply and dollar value as they continue to do today at the expense of U.S. citizens. Let's take a look at another slide here. So that leads me to welcome you to the world of cryptocurrency. So now that we see all the problems with fiat currencies, how is cryptocurrency a possible solution? Well, as I said earlier, cryptocurrency is not controlled and manipulated by the government. It's a currency controlled by the general public throughout the world. So how does it work? Let me give you a brief history of it, and got a slide for that here. Excuse me. So Bitcoin, the first cryptocurrency ever in existence, was created in 2009 by a computer programmer that went by the name of Satoshi Nakamoto. Basically what he created is a system of currency that is decentralized. It operates via peer-to-peer network, which can be accessed by the public. So therefore we can basically say that it is controlled by the public. Now the way it works is that each transaction is coded into something called a block, and then each block then gets confirmed through a process called mining, in which blocks are then added to the blockchain. So let's take a look at another chart to illustrate this process more fully. Um, so here's an example. Like let's say person A, let's say person A sends money in the form of Bitcoin to person B. Now first the transaction gets recorded as a block. And a block is a long string basically of assigned letters and numbers, just random letters and numbers that's coded. So the block is then added to the network, and users then come in and add the newly created block to the blockchain. So think of a blockchain as a public ledger of all blocks ever created. That's what it basically is. So again, it's basically just a long string of numbers and letters that individually match up to each individual transaction. Now when each new block is added to the blockchain, those new blocks get confirmed and the transaction is completed. So that's basically the process. Um, it's a form of digital currency completely decentralized and out of the control of any single entity like the government. So since the blockchain creates a public ledger of each transaction and transactions must be mined in order to get approved, every piece of currency is accounted for basically. So compare this to excuse me, need some water here. Compare this to how the banks create dollars out of thin air. You know, this is the power of digital currency, and this is why it will replace fiat money, basically. Now, besides Bitcoin, there are currently many other types of cryptocurrencies out there that use similar technology, but most are completely decentralized, and each transaction confirmed by the public. Now, many of you may be wondering how private it is. So this is the other beauty of cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin. The blockchain only contains details about how much was sent and where. So your identity is completely confidential in the system. So if you were to send, for instance, $10 worth of Bitcoin to your brother in India, okay, I don't know where you live, but let's just say you were sending it to him in India. It could be anywhere. It could be Egypt. It could be England. But the block would only show that a transaction for $10 was made from your wallet address to your brother's wallet address in India, okay, or wherever you're sending it to. Now again, a wallet address is a long string of unique letters and numbers. Nobody has any clue the name of the person that string of code belongs to, nor do they care. Nevertheless, your transaction will always be safe and confirmed since it shows how much transaction was for and the wallet address in which it was exchanged in the blockchain. So that's kind of the basic science behind it. And now that you kind of have that concept, I want to share with you what ultimately sold me on the concept of cryptocurrency. Now, for the last several years, I've been a full-time investor and day trader in the stock market. And if you are a professional stock trader or even a business owner or entrepreneur, you'll quickly learn about supply and demand and how focusing your money making strategies around that is the key to success. So let me talk about supply and demand a little bit. Generally, when there are more people trying to buy a product or service than are willing to sell, this will usually raise the price, okay? And on the other hand, if there are more people trying to sell a product or service than are willing to buy, the price will usually get lower. So, let me give you an example. When I was younger, I owned a business as a vendor for glow toys. And, these items were very popular at places like carnivals, fairs, etc. And now one day I stocked a brand new LED light up toy, and, from the minute I put it for sale, it started selling. I originally ordered, I think, like 100 of them and priced them at about $10 each. And, within 2 hours after I put it for sale, over half that inventory was gone. And, as a vendor, I needed to slow the buying activity so that I didn't run out, because it was a festival. I think it was like a camp out, and, I couldn't just go and grab more. I mean, I had that limited supply that I ordered. So, what I did was I instantly raised the price to $15. And I did that because it was just going so fast. And but it didn't matter because the frenzy continued. And as the supply started getting really low, I had, I think I had set my price to about $20. And now after the item had been on the market for some time and sales started to slow, that trend reversed. But I now had a lot of inventory to move and not enough buyers. So actually, I gradually moved the price lower to attract more later on. So that's kind of what happened to me. As the supply went up, the price got lower, but as that demand came in, and everyone was trying to buy that glow toy from me. Well, I had to raise the price to try to slow it down, and that's kind of the natural cycle of things. That's the basic principle of supply and demand and how it's correlated, to price. So let's go back to talking about Bitcoin and what ultimately sold me on it. So in terms of supply and demand, Bitcoin is more valuable than gold. Let me repeat that again. In terms of supply and demand, Bitcoin is actually more valuable than gold. Now, when I first read an article from someone suggesting this fact, I sort of laughed at it. But upon further investigation of my own, I found it actually made sense. And let's see why. So according to numbersleuth.com, okay, if you took all of the gold that we know exists in the world and put it all together, you'd have approximately 5.8 billion ounces of gold. Okay, now compared to other types of metals and things, that's actually extremely limited, which is why gold has such a high value. However, Bitcoin is even more rare. When Satoshi Nakamoto created Bitcoin in 2009, he basically set a hard limit on the supply. Okay, it's encoded in that supply. Now Bitcoins can be mined up to 21 million Bitcoin. Okay, so that's the max. After that number is surpassed, no further Bitcoin can ever be mined. Okay, so what that means is that there can never be more than 21 million Bitcoin in existence at any time ever. So now compare that to gold. That means that even when all the Bitcoins have been mined, which it hasn't yet, I think we're currently at around 18 million, which has been mined. But when all 21 million Bitcoin has been mined, there will be at least around 277 times less Bitcoin in circulation as there are ounces of gold. So why did I choose to measure gold in ounces? Well, for anybody that's familiar with futures trading, we know that the spot price for 1 ounce of gold right now is around $1,300 last time I checked, okay? Now at its highest point back in 2011, 2012, gold was going for about $1,800 per ounce, okay? And here's a chart, here's a chart I took today from goldprice.org. You can clearly see from the chart what the value of 1 ounce of gold is today and what it was at its peak. So, going back to the previous slide here, let's see. Okay, so going back to that previous slide, we basically calculated that Bitcoin was even more limited in supply by about 277 times. Now, since we know that when supply is lower and demand is high, the price will usually go up accordingly, it's a safe assumption to say that if gold is currently valued at around $1,300 with a current supply of about 5.8 billion, then the fair value for Bitcoin would be 277 times what the spot price of gold is today, which is $1,300. So what does that come out to? Let's take a look here. Okay, so that's pretty good, right? $360,100 would be the fair value for the Bitcoin. Again, we calculated that just by taking the spot price of gold right now and multiplying that by 277 times to make up for that supply deficit. So $360,100 would be about the fair market value per Bitcoin as it compares to gold. Okay. Now I went ahead and calculated what the fair price of Bitcoin should be based on gold's highest price as well over the last 10 years, and that came out to almost $500,000 per coin. So that means compared to the given intrinsic value of gold, based on its supply, Bitcoin's fair market value should be anywhere between $360,000 to almost $500,000 per coin. It's not bad, right? So what's the value of Bitcoin right now? Well, upon making this video, the price is around $2,500 per coin right now. So do you see now why I consider Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies like it such a great investment? Now, some of you might be saying, well, $2,500 per coin is still out of my budget, and if you're one of those people, I understand. Buying in at $2,500 per coin is still a lot of money. So when Bitcoins first started out in 2009, they were going for about 10 cents each. For a while when the demand for Bitcoin seemed undecided, the value of a single Bitcoin was about $200 to $400. Back then people felt it was too expensive, but if you look back now, I'm sure they probably wish they had bought. So now that we know that based on the limited supply, bright future, and lack of centralized control and other factors, it's pretty safe to say that Bitcoin will most likely only grow from here in the long run and by a lot. Okay. Now imagine if you bought 2 Bitcoins today. It would cost you around $5,000. But you would still be thinking about the cost if it grew, to be worth its fair market value, which we determined to be around $1 million for those 2 coins, at its high end. Now I do want to mention that there is hope for people that don't have $2,500 or $5,000 laying around. Now Bitcoin can be bought in smaller increments. For instance, you can buy like 0.1 or 10% of a Bitcoin for maybe $250. It would just be the $2,500 value divided by 10, and then you'd get 1/10 of a Bitcoin for 10% of that price. So now even if that's too much, you can go in even smaller increments, such as zero point 0.05, 0.01, or smaller units. The smallest unit of Bitcoin one can buy right now is called a Satoshi, and that equates to about 1/100th of a millionth of a Bitcoin. Now there's even more good news I'd like to share with you, which is one of the reasons I made this. Actually, it's the main reason I made this video. So there's a company out there called Icoin Pro, okay, and what it does is it educates people on how to trade cryptocurrency like Bitcoin and others, basically like a professional, okay. And it's an ongoing training program with advanced training from many different millionaires in the industry. Okay, now it's also a very powerful earning opportunity in itself. They have a very powerful profit sharing inside the company, and I'll kind of go into that later. But what it's going to do is it's going to help you to learn how to gain Bitcoin, and also how to and while you're doing that, while you're learning, you're also going to be able to make money with the program. So let me go ahead and get into that right now. Okay, so the program, let's see. Okay, so the program is called Icoin Pro. Okay, so this is a company that I just got started with a few weeks ago doing their pre-launch, and they just actually launched yesterday, June 21st. So it's still in its infancy, but I believe that this company is positioned to be one of the fastest growing companies out there, and I believe you're going to get valuable education out of it in learning how to trade cryptocurrency and Bitcoin. And also it's going to be a powerful income earning opportunity in itself. Okay, so let me talk to you a little bit about what the program offers. So this here is my back office, and there's a place in here that says Icoin Pro Training. So this is what the product is. Okay, so the product that this program offers is basically advanced, beginner to advanced training on everything you could ever need to know about cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin. Okay, so it teaches you, and it's put together by millionaire investors in the industry and things like that. People that know exactly what they're talking about, and it discusses different things. So like here's one of the first packages. It's the core set. It talks about introduction to monetary systems, currencies, and cryptocurrencies. Talks about the birth of cryptocurrencies and blockchains, Bitcoin myths, benefits of cryptocurrencies, how does Bitcoin work, wallets, how to acquire Bitcoin, cryptography and security behind cryptocurrency. Talks about the blockchain, price of Bitcoin, making money from cryptocurrencies. Talks about mining, okay, how to earn Bitcoin through mining, security. Talks about the scams out there, so I mean, it even details what's a scam, what to avoid, and what's been working for people. ICOs explain cryptocurrency exchanges. Okay, so I'm a full-time stock trader and investor as well. I believe I said that earlier. And you know, when stocks first came out, I believe that this cryptocurrency revolution is kind of like if you had gotten involved in stocks when stocks are brand new. Can you imagine? I mean, how rich would you be today if if when Apple ICO'd, or or when the New York Stock Exchange first started offering different company stocks, like imagine if you had bought those, if you had bought those back then. I mean, and you just let it grow. I mean, today, if you'd bought just $100 worth of Apple, I mean, back when it ICO'd, that would be worth about $500,000 today. So, there's a lot of money to be made. And I believe that just like stocks, we're at the start of another big investment opportunity. Okay. So if you've ever heard, get in at the start, it's completely true. I mean, the people that make the most money from any type um, of investment vehicle are usually the people that get in ahead of everyone else. Okay, so this company Icoin Pro positions you to go ahead and learn how to do that. Um, so it talks about cryptocurrency exchanges. Right now, there's a lot of different exchanges out there, but I believe that eventually, these exchanges, as cryptocurrency starts to gain in popularity even more, and as it becomes more accepted in society, I believe that these exchanges will consolidate. Just like stocks. Everyone's heard of the New York Stock Exchange and the Nasdaq. So but before, I believe there were probably many different exchanges, but eventually they just consolidated down. So it talks about these different exchanges out there right now. Step-by-step guide to buying and storing your first digital coin, useful resources, core overview, okay? And then it gets into more advanced training, things like mining, blockchain and blockchain technologies, Ethereum. Okay, so I talked about Bitcoin in my first tutorial, and so Ethereum is basically another type of cryptocurrency out there. If you go to coinmarketcap.com, it actually lists the different types of cryptocurrencies. I mean, there's a lot of different cryptocurrencies out there, but I usually just focus on this top list here. These are the most popular and the most traded by, highest market cap. If you've never traded stocks before, you probably don't know what a market cap is. It's basically if you took all of the supply and you multiply that by the current price, that would give you the market cap. So it's basically the value of all the outstanding Bitcoins out there for, or whatever. So that's what it is. So Ethereum is going to be the highest. It's the second highest market cap cryptocurrency currently. Okay. So this Icoin Pro talks about, where is it? There it is. So this Icoin Pro basically talks about Ethereum, teaches you about that, smart contracts on Ethereum, investing, lending, staking. So these are some advanced trading techniques. Ethereum Classic, Steam, Made Safe Coin. These, those are different cryptocurrencies. Here's more over here. Bitcoin, Ripple, Litecoin, NEM, Dash. Okay, so these are different types of cryptocurrencies, which are also in this list here. Okay, so it trains you on those as well, explains those, how they work, and and how to trade them. And then then there's really advanced training here. They have something currently called the micro profit system, which is a training put together by millionaire investors in the industry, in detail on basically how they're trading and how they're making a lot of money. And this, like I said, this company just launched yesterday, and that's why you don't see a whole lot yet. But they're constantly going to be adding to it as time progresses. Okay, I mean they just literally can't put this one there, and they're going to be adding to it and then adding a lot more trainings as time goes. So the focus on the product is to educate you 100% what you need to know, everything you need to know in order to be successful at trading cryptocurrencies and profiting from it. Okay, all of them, Bitcoin, and all the different cryptocurrencies out there. And they're going to constantly update you, update these products as new things come out, as different things progress. So they're going to keep you up to date on everything in the cryptocurrency world and how to be successful. Okay, so that's the product you get. And this is very valuable training. So how much does all that cost? Okay, so let's talk about that. And then I want to talk about how this company also offers you an opportunity to make a lot of money with their profit sharing, for helping this company to grow. Okay, so how much does this cost? Well, first of all, if you wanted to join, like let's say you wanted to gain access, become a member like I did, gain access to your own back office, you get these website addresses and these different landing pages. So this is your entry point here. And so this one here is discovericoinpro.com/bchai. So you'd want to go to that web address, and then you're going to get to this page here. And again, discovericoinpro.com/bchai. That's BCHAI. Okay, and then it has like a little nifty 4-minute video on here that explains things. Again, I'm kind of going over all that information more in detail for you, but you just fill out. You get your free position by putting in your name, first name and last name, your email address. You could enter your phone number. That's optional, and you just click Learn More right here. Okay, and then once you do that, you're basically going to get free access to kind of see this back office and what you get. Okay, now you don't get access to the product or ability to earn money, but you kind of see the back office. And from here, what I would suggest you do, you have until the following Wednesday to upgrade, or you're going to lose your position. And I'll show you what I mean by losing your position. You lock your position in what's called a power line, and basically it allows you to get paid off everybody that joins after you who falls in your power line. It's one of the most lucrative and sophisticated plans I've seen in this type of deal ever, and it's very exciting. And so that's why you want to pre-register and lock your place in as soon as possible. Okay, as soon as possible you want to do this, and I'll show you why later. Okay, but anyway, so you would click like Get Started or Become a Distributor. I think it's you click this big button right here, and it takes you to this page. It says Welcome. So once you're in your back office, you get your own little back office. You would click the blue button, which would appear right here. It doesn't appear on mine because I'm already a full member. But you click that blue button right here, and then it would take you to this page. Welcome. You're about to join the most exciting home-based business on the internet that could dramatically improve your life. Okay, 3 simple steps will get you there. So, so you would just put in the same information: your first name, last name, email address, phone number, and then you pick a username and password. Okay, and this is going to be your login credentials to get into your back office anytime you need to. And then you'd select a membership. So we talked about the training and what they offer. So how much does that cost? Well, it's only $39.95 a month. So all of that training that I just went over, and all the training they're going to be adding, I mean, they're going to be constantly adding and updating trainings in here. So it's only going to cost you $39.95 a month to access as much of that as you want anytime you want. Okay, it's a great deal. That's if you pay by the month. Now there's 2 other options. You could pay in 6-month terms or yearly terms. And save like a little bit of money if you do that. So you can choose any one of these 3 options, and any one of them is fine. Now I do want to mention that you don't get locked in. Okay, so you can actually cancel anytime you want. There's no commitment period. So you can cancel anytime, but you're if you do that, you're gonna miss everything I'm about to show you. So I would suggest you stay a member if you can afford to pay these packages up front. I would suggest you do that because that way you don't have to worry about getting charged every month. It'll just be every 6 months or every year. Okay, so then you're gonna also want to check this box where it says become a distributor. Now it's totally up to you. I mean, you don't have to be a distributor if you don't want to be. I mean, you can just sign up and get the product. Learn everything you want to learn about Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. But I would highly, highly suggest that you do become a distributor because I mean, this program actually you can even make money even if you don't sponsor anybody. Okay, and there's not a whole lot of programs out there that I can say that with, and I'm going to show you how that's possible. Okay, so it's only a one-time $40, and you become a distributor. And I'm going to go into the compensation plan, and it's just going to blow you away. Okay, so I would check this box, become a distributor, pay the one-time $40 distributor fee. Okay, so again, it's just one time. So like, say you signed up today, and you chose option one. So your first month would be 40 plus $39.95. So it'd be $79.95 for your first month. And then every month after that will just be this $39.95. Okay, so again, this is just a one-time thing. And then you pick your payment method. You can pay by credit card or using Bitcoin. I think I just paid by credit card. And then you just put in your information here. All your or your credit card information, or if you choose to pay by Bitcoin, you would just do that. And then you would click this box down here. Oops, let me see. So you chose, if you chose a $39.95 month plan or whatnot, you would click this box here that says, I understand you're going to get charged the $39.95 today, and continue to get billed $39.95 each month starting 30 days from now unless you cancel your account, and you can cancel at any time. Okay, so check the box saying you understand that. Agree to the policies and procedures. If you want to read it, you just click here, and then you click join now, and that will get you a full membership in the system. Okay, so that will get you complete access to everything, including this training that I showed you earlier. Okay, so all this stuff here, you'll have access to that. Now, what you're also going to have access to, as long as you checked the box to become a distributor, okay, you're going to have access to one of the most lucrative compensation plans I've ever seen in my life, and I'm going to go through that with you right now. So I talked a little bit about the power line earlier. Okay, so what is that? So this company actually pays you what's called a power line bonus. It pays it through 5 levels. Okay, so this company is set up as a it's a matrix that builds in twos. Okay, so if you were to personally sponsor people, like I said, you don't have to do this if you don't want to, but if you did, then you would have 2 people that you could personally sponsor. Everybody else that you put in after that is going to fall under them. Okay, so they'll have 2, then they'll have 2, then they'll have 2, and it'll just keep trickling down. So the most you can ever put on your level 1 is going to be 2 people, and then your level 2 would be 4 people, and then your level 3 would be 12 people, and so on and so forth. Okay, so it builds like that. And so when you first join, okay, your power line is going to be, so my power line, so it says since I've joined, there have already been 53,567 pre-enrollees and 3,724 paid members placed in the company, and it's still growing. Okay, so this is going to show you how, I mean, this company is really growing fast. And once again, I joined on June 6th, so that's about a couple weeks ago. And so since then, there's already been over 53,000 people that have pre-enrolled, and of those 53,000, 3,724 people, excuse me, 3,724 people became paid members. Okay, so all of these people are going to be under me in my power line. Okay, and if they're for all these people that are in my levels 1 through 5, I'm going to actually make 3% of their product. Okay, so they're that $39.95 a month that they're paying, I'm going to make 3% of that from everybody out of these 3,724 people that joined, that falls into my power line. Okay, so that's huge, guys. I mean, what did I do for this? Absolutely nothing. This just grows. I mean, it just keeps growing every day. This company is growing like wildfire, and so every time I log in, there's a little bit more people, and that's I don't have to do anything for that. Okay, so that's the beauty of this company. So for those of you who come in and say, oh, I don't want to recruit anybody, I've heard people, like some people hear the word affiliate marketing or multi-level marketing and they just run. Okay, I understand if that's you. That's totally fine. You can even just sign up and get the product for $39.95 a month. But even if you do the $40 to become a distributor, which I would suggest you never not become a distributor. You need to, because this power line bonus, that's just going to build, while you're doing nothing. I mean, if you decide to do nothing, that's totally up to you, and you'll still make money with this power line. I mean, that is huge, guys. So I mean, even like it says here, it doesn't matter if you personally enroll them or somebody else personally enrolled them. Okay, if your upline personally enrolled them, you'd still get paid off of them. So if you join today, let's say you paid that $39.95 for the product plus the $40 distributor fee, and then 2 days later, or it doesn't matter, the next day, an hour later, a minute later, somebody on the other side of the world joins, and they get 3 people in, or 4 people, like their brother, sister, uncle, and friend in their business under them. You would get paid off every single one of those people as long as they fell under one of these 1 through 5 levels. I mean, that's huge, guys. So that's what the power line bonus is. And so you get 3% through 5 levels. Now, for all of you non-recruiters out there, there's another way that you can earn money with this program just by signing up. Okay, and this is the residual income. Again, it's a matrix that builds in twos. Okay, so this allows you to get paid up to 14 levels with the residual income. So this is like a icing on the cake. I mean, you're just going to get a monthly check for this power line bonuses, as it builds. And then on top of that, this residual income, as this builds, you're also going to get a check for this. So this pays 2.5% through 10 levels. And again, that doesn't matter if you get that from spillover or if you personally enroll them. Okay, so let's say you got involved and you did absolutely nothing. Okay, and what's going to happen is over time, like let's say that you join under me and I start sponsoring, I sponsor people like crazy, guys. I mean, I'm putting in about 1 a day. So it's gonna start trickling down underneath everybody else. Because like I said, I could only have 2 people personally under me. Okay, so everyone else I put in after those first 2 is gonna fall under those 2, and then once they each have 2, it's gonna fall under those 2. So it's gonna be kind of like a trickle down effect. So over time you're gonna start seeing your organization growing, and it's always gonna fill the highest position first. Okay, so the highest unfilled position, it's going to fill first, and it's going to go the next one, then the next one, and then the next one, then it'll come back. So over time, you're just going to see it build up, and you're going to be earning 2.5% on everyone directly under you, 2.5% on everyone under those people, 2.5% on everyone under those, all the way down through 10 levels. Okay, so that's huge. And just to let you know how much that actually is. Now again, you don't have to personally enroll anybody, you know, to get this. You can wait for the trickle effect to take shape, you know, for me to put in people, or other people in our upline to put in people, and it will start trickling down. But if you're actively recruiting, you know, which I would highly suggest, because it's only going to make you a lot more a lot more money. Excuse me. If you're actively recruiting, then this is just going to fill a lot faster. Okay. So just to give you an idea, so this is the amount of money that you can make. You know, hold on one second. I need some water here. Okay, so this is the amount of money that you're actually going to make, if you were to fill your entire 1 through 10. Okay, because again, we know exactly how much people it would take to fill your levels 1 through 10. Okay, because you know, if two get two who get two who get two all the way down, then you know you're going to end up with a certain number if you fill your entire organization 1 through 10 levels. Okay, so if you fill that entire organization, this is what you're going to make. It's going to be $2,046 per month. Okay, that equates to 2.5% of everyone's $39.95 product fee each month going back to you, in your levels 1 through 10. So again, without sponsoring a single person, you're going to be able to make $2,046 once this thing fills. Okay, for the residual income, you know, plus this extra money over here in the power line bonuses. So that's really generous. I mean, you can actually make, you know, pretty much a standard, or you know, I would say like a middle class income for doing nothing with this business. I mean, so let's talk about what you would get if you actually did something. Okay, so there's different ranks. This is for the unranked that I just told you about. Okay, so if you're unranked, like you first come in the business, this is how much levels they pay on. This is how much you'd be able to make. Now, once you start getting ranked, it's going to go down deeper. Okay, so let's talk about ranks for a second. And there's 3 other ways, guys, in this compensation plan. So bear with me. I mean, it gets really, really exciting as I go through it. So the 1 star, you know, basically, if you first come in, you're unranked. To get to your first rank of 1 star, all you need to do is personally enroll 3 active members, okay, and who each pay their membership fee for the current month. So once you do that, you'll become a 1 star, okay, and then to get to a 2 star, you basically have a total of 20 active members in your enroller tree, with no more than 40% coming from any one individual leg. So again, if you remember, you've got like your 2 people under you is the max that you can put, you know, directly under you. So you know, they call them legs. Like you know, one of those people would be like the left leg, one of those people would build the right leg. Okay, so as long as you have 20 active members between those two, you know, and it's kind of evened out between the two legs, which it should be very easily. I mean, especially if it's trickling down, it's always going to fill, you know, whatever's not filled first. So so once you have 20 active members in your enroller tree, and you meet that requirement, 40% coming not coming from any one individual leg, then you're going to become a 2-star member. Okay, a 3-star member is going to be 100 active members in your enroller tree. So between those 2 legs, you get 100 active members, with no more than 40% coming from any one leg. Star Elite is going to be 500 active members with no more than 40% coming from any one leg. And Star Presidential is going to be 5,000 active members. And again, this is the highest position currently in the company. So once you have 5,000 active members in your enroller tree with no more than 40% coming from one leg, then you hit the rank of Star Presidential. So what do you get for these different ranks? Okay, first of all, let's go back to the first 2 ways of making money and talk about what you'd get. Now, where is it? I guess I need to go to the back button. Okay, there we go. So so with the power line, rank doesn't really matter. Everyone gets that no matter what. Okay, and then with the residual income, you know, so obviously as you gain in rank, this is just going to increase. Okay, so if you're not, again, if you don't recruit anybody ever, you're going to make, this is the most you're going to be able to make from the residuals. It's $2,046 a month. Now, if you get to the position of 2 star, um, you're once you do that, then basically instead of 10 levels, they're going to pay you through 12. Okay, now 2 extra levels might not seem like that much, but it makes a world of difference. And let me explain to you why. Because as this goes down further, it's going to be wider. Okay, so these two levels are going to be very wide. So how much income does that actually add? So if you were to fill up 12 levels instead of 10, your income would now be $8,190 per month. Okay, so that's a huge difference, as you can see. I mean, that's about $6,000 almost per month more. About $6,000 per month more than what you'd make here. Okay, so that's a huge difference. And then once you get to 3 star, that's when it gets really really good. I mean, then you get paid through 14 levels. And I mean, by this time, it's very very wide here in your organization. So if you were to fill that entire organization up, your income would be $32,766 per month. Okay, so this is what ranking gets you. And now this is just the residual income. Okay, I mean this money I just talked about is just with the residuals that you'd be making every single month. So it's that 2.5% from their $39.95 product fee for all these people in your organization, whether you enroll them or not, okay, through spillover. So you get that, you'd still get this power line bonus at 3% through 5 levels. And then also I just want to mention they have a matching bonus. Okay, so this is another very powerful part of the compensation plan. I mean, I'm not even sure why they added this, to be honest with you. I mean, it's just like extra money for nothing. Okay, so what is a matching bonus? Well, you would basically get a percentage of somebody's check, in your organization. So let's say that, at the start you're an unranked, you personally enroll, let's say you personally enroll 2 people, okay? So they would be on your, the first 2 people that you get on your first level. You're going to get 10% matching bonus, okay? So let's say that one of those 2 people, or let's say both of those 2 people become superstars and they go out and they sponsor 10 people within a week, okay? And they end up growing the organization, and all of a sudden between the 2 of them they're making, one's making $3,000 a month and one's making $2,000 a month. Well, you would get a matching bonus of 10% for their checks. So you would get 10% of their check for both of them, and as their check grows, your check's also gonna grow. So the company's just gonna match it. It's like profit sharing. And then as you increase in rank, again, this is why you want to increase in rank, is because not only are you going to be able to earn more from everybody that you personally enroll, but you're also going to be able to earn on deeper levels on matching bonuses. So this gets really, really huge. Okay, so I mean, once you become a 1 star, everyone you personally enroll goes up to 20%. 2 star, everyone you personally enroll, you're going to get 30% of their check. Whatever they make. If they make $10,000 a month, you're going to get 30% of that. Okay, as a 2 star, 10% of that as an unranked. And then on top of that, as you start to grow in rank, like 2 star, now you're going to get paid off everyone that they put in. So if you put people in who put other people in, and then you're going to get a matching bonus from all those people. Okay, so 10% on your level 2. 3 star is going to be 40% now. I mean, it's getting really big. Then 2 second level is 10%, third level is 10%. Everyone those people put in is 5%. Star Elite is you're now earning half their check. I mean, so if you put in 2 people and they earn between $20,000 a month, you're going to get $10,000 a month for what? For nothing. On top of all these other types of income that you're receiving. Okay, so Star Elite and then Star Presidential, which is the highest position, 60% profit sharing bonus, level, and then it pays you through 6 levels, matching bonuses, 10% on the second, 10% on the third. I don't know if you guys are good at math, you can see exactly how much money this is. it's really big, guys. It is a lot of money, just in these matching bonuses. Okay, and then this residual income, and then when I talked about the power line bonus. So now let's talk about two other ways of getting paid. Like that wasn't enough. Okay, so the fast start bonuses and coded infinity fast start overrides, those are one-time bonuses. Okay, so all of these that I mentioned is monthly. Um, you know, as far as these two things are going to be one time. Okay, um, so that $40 you pay to become a distributor, I want to say that the company actually pays out 100% of that. I've done the math. Companies about paying out about 80% of all of their sales, not even their net. Okay, all of their sales, that they make, they're paying 80% of that back to people like you and I. Okay, and they're still paying on their own all the fees in order to run the company. Which is a lot if you've ever run a business. So this company is very, very generous. So the fast start bonuses, for everyone you personally enroll, you're going to get $10. Okay, one time. And there's no limit. If you enroll 10 people, that's going to be $100. If you personally enroll, 40 people, that's going to be 400. And then as you rank, if you're actively recruiting, then then for everyone you personally enroll as a 1 star, it's going to be $15. For everyone they put in, you're going to get a bonus for $5. Okay, so this is just bonus checks. 2 stars, 20. And then you're getting paid on 3 levels. 3 stars, you're getting paid $25 for everyone who personally enroll, $5 for everyone they enroll, $3 for everyone those people enroll, and so on and so forth. Okay, and there's no limit to those bonuses. So every time a new rep comes in your organization, you're going to get a bonus. Okay, on top of all the extra income I mentioned from earlier. Now, coded infinity fast star overrides. Once you achieve star elite, or star presidential, then you would start earning these. Okay, on top of everything else. So what these are is, it's going to be an extra $1 to $2, based on your generation. So what is a generation? Well, let's say you're a star elite. Okay, everybody from you to the next star elite in your organization is going to be considered a generation. So it's basically everybody from you to the next person of the same rank. Okay, and then so you're going to earn $2 from every one of those people as a bonus, each time, for everybody that gets enrolled. Okay, and then second generation. So everybody from that star elite to the next star elite in your organization, you're going to get $1 on. Everybody from that star elite to the following star elite would be your third generation. You'd get $1 on them. So I mean, a dollar might not seem like a lot, but this isn't capped at 14 levels. I mean, this could go way past 14 levels. I mean, so if you're earning $1 from each of those people on top of everything else, I mean, that's big money, guys. I mean, so if you had 3,000 people in your organization, you would be making extra $3,000 to $6,000, in bonuses just for that. Okay, and and as it grows, you're going to keep getting those bonuses. Okay, so those are the 5 levels. I mean, those are the 5 ways to earn income in this program. So I mean, as you can see, it's very, very lucrative. I mean, I've never seen a pay plan so lucrative. And this is why you want to become a distributor. So I mean, again, with the power line bonuses and the residual income, I mean, it allows you to earn money even if you never put in a single person. So it's totally up to you. I would suggest that you do, and you can see, I mean, the kind of money that you can build with this program if you are actively recruiting. Excuse me. So yeah, that basically kind of wraps up this short presentation. I just want to say, if again, what you want to do is you want to go ahead, you want to go to discovericoinpro.com/bchai. That's BCHAI. Get to this page, put in your first, last name, email address, click learn more. Okay, put in your optional phone number, click learn more. And then once you do that, get started. Click the blue button, get to this page, and sign up as soon as possible. Okay, put in all this information and pick one of these plans, guys. Okay, whichever one you're comfortable with, and make sure you check the box to become a distributor. Okay, and that way you can start gaining access to the valuable training that this company offers. Okay, as well as all of the uh, all of the compensation plan that I went over. You can start making money from all of that as well. Okay, which is, as you can see, it's very, very lucrative. Um, and then there's all kinds of tracking tools in here as well. And the company does weekly trainings, and so I mean it's growing very, very fast. And again, if you click on like genealogy, you can get into um, your power line. I mean, you can actually see, this is your power line view. Since I've joined, there've already been, and again, I just joined on June 6th, a couple weeks ago. There's already been 53,567 people that went through this and pre-enrolled. Okay, and of those people, 3,724 have upgraded and became full representatives, distributors in the system. So every one of those people that fall into my levels 1 through 5 in my power line, I'm going to get paid on. And I mean, you can see they have all these are all the people that upgraded, and then the pages go on for forever. I mean, over 100 pages of people that joined just in the last 2 weeks. Okay, so this company is really going somewhere. If you've ever heard the expression, if you want to be successful, get in at the top, guys, this is the top. Okay, I mean, this company just launched just yesterday, and this is a great time to get involved. And so go ahead and do that. Upgrade as soon as possible. And and like I said, I'm actively recruiting, so you're gonna see spillover for me. But don't wait for me, because you want to be able to get to where you want to be at faster, sooner than later. Okay, because you're going to be making money from this power line and everything else as it grows. But if you want to see income a lot faster and a lot more of it, obviously I explained to you in the compensation plan how that's done. Okay, and it's very, very easy to get people in this business. And I have a whole video dedicated to that. I send to all my reps once they get started. So once you get started, you should be getting an email from me explaining different ways on how you can get started right away in making money with this program. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed it, and that wraps up my presentation. And feel free to email me if you have any questions, bccreativemarketing@gmail.com. Also, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm always constantly posting videos on there, different trainings, tutorials, and things like that. Okay, so anyway, wish you guys success, and I'm always here to help, and I will see you at the top. Thanks, guys.